Moving on now, the Joe Biden administration is proposing changes in the H-1B foreign workers program. The changes are aimed at improving efficiency by streamlining eligibility, providing more flexibility to F1 students as well as entrepreneurs and those working for non-profit bodies, and ensuring better conditions for other non-immigrant workers. Rules are scheduled to be published by the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services today. And in order to know the kind of changes that might be proposed today, we have Soundarya Balasubramani joining us. She's the author of two best-selling books, Unshackled and Admitted. Her second book, Unshackled, breaks down how the legal administration, this is the immigration system that works in the United States. Now, let's get more details with Soundarya. The US is proposing major changes in the H-1B visa. How will this impact professionals, students, and what kind of a change will this bring about amongst employees?
Hey, Divya, thanks so much for having me here. I think as an employee, there are three changes that you should be watching out for. The first one is that you can't be submitting multiple applications on your behalf through different companies, which is what happened early this year in the 2023 lottery. So, which means everyone gets a fair one chance in the H-1B lottery. That's, I think, the first and major change for an employee. The second one would be there's some good news for founders. So let's say you want to file an H-1B through your own company. They're essentially going to be loosening the restriction of what qualifies as an employer-employee relationship. And let's just say this will let more founders use the H-1B to build their companies in the US. And the third change is that they're modernizing what qualifies as an organization that is CAP exempt from the lottery. So CAP exempt means that as an organization, you don't have to have your employees go through the lottery to work for you. And a great example of this is universities. So they're essentially modernizing the term, what qualifies under this as CAP exempts. So as an employee, hopefully you'll have more choices to work at where you don't have to go through the lottery.
Right, so employees will have more choices. What about employers? What kind of changes would it bring about for employers?
I think for employers, just like the employees, the first major change is that you can't game the system by trying to put in multiple applications for the same person, which happened a lot early this year. And secondly, they're codifying, they're concretizing what the USA has authority to conduct site visits so that they can come and check that you are a legitimate employer and that you're not just setting up a sham company to hire employees on the H-1B. So the rule will essentially codify their authority to do this more. And last but not least, they're also tightening the definition of what qualifies as a specialty occupation. So, for example, let's say that you have a role that only requires a genetic degree, but not specialty training for it, then you cannot use that job role to hire an employee on the H-1B. So these are some proposed rules. Nothing is final yet. It's still in the early stages of being proposed. They still have to open up for public comment, which starts from today, 23rd in the US. And once the public gives comment, the DHS, the Department of Homeland Security, will go back, take all this input, and then publish a final rule, hopefully sometime late 2024. So until that goes into effect, there is no change to the status quo.
Right. Soundarya, before I let you go, my last question. Take us through the key rules that are changing, but also what's not changing.
Yeah, so the key rules are what I mentioned right now in terms of changes. What is not changing is the fundamental cap on the number of H-1Bs. So essentially, there are 85,000 H-1Bs that is set aside and issued every year. And this hasn't changed in the last 2 decades. So that is not going to change. Even though your chances in the lottery might increase because everyone gets a fair chance, there is no abuse, the number of visas that's given out per year is not going to be changing.
Right. Thank you so much, Soundarya, for joining us on the broadcast. A proposal that might just come about today in the United States.